The movie opens with a shot of train tracks, and we're immediately taken back to the year 1968. Paul has just built a Skyview restaurant as a surprise for Iris. She's thrilled, and to promote the restaurant, a picture is taken of Paul and Iris with the tower in the background. They head inside the restaurant, which features a glass floor offering a view straight down and a live kitchen situated at the center. People are partying, and Iris lovingly places a rose in Paul's jacket pocket. But the thorn pricks her finger, making it bleed, and shortly after, she begins to vomit. A singer performing at the restaurant notices this and immediately suspects that Iris is pregnant. When she mentions it, Iris is shocked. She hadn't realized it herself, but the news makes her happy. While there, Iris notices the singer's son and, for some unexplained reason, feels drawn to him. Paul then takes Iris to the rooftop terrace, where he proposes to her. Overjoyed, she accepts and shares the good news that she's pregnant, making Paul just as happy. Meanwhile, Iris spots the singer's mischievous son again. He drops a coin from the rooftop. Instead of falling straight to ground, the coin is pulled into an air conditioning unit by vacuum pressure. Back at the party, as everyone dances, the restaurant floor suddenly begins to shake. The coin spins inside the AC duct, caught in the airflow fan, and then suddenly the floor collapses. Everyone falls. Paul tries to save himself by grabbing a piece of glass, cutting his hands badly in the process. But he loses his grip, falls, and dies. Iris, luckily, was standing on a stable section of the floor and survives. The spinning coin eventually flies out of the duct and strikes a gas pipe, causing a leak. This results in a fire breaking out in the live kitchen above. The singer is killed in the flames, while Iris hides under a piano to survive. In an attempt to escape, Iris runs to the elevator, but it's overcrowded. Just as it starts to descend, a man gets crushed beneath it. The elevator is destroyed, killing everyone inside. When Iris returns upstairs, she sees that half the restaurant is now tilted and unstable. People are scrambling to survive. The only thing keeping that section balanced is the piano, and just then, the same coin that had caused so much chaos lands on the piano, disturbing the balance. That section collapses, killing everyone in it. Iris finds the singer's son again and grabs him, trying to save him, but the floor beneath them cracks open. She tries to use her ring to wedge herself between two iron rods, but her hand gets injured and the ring slips off. In the end, both Iris and the child fall and die. Suddenly, a girl screams, and it's revealed that everything we just saw was a hallucination experienced by a student named Stefani. She's in class, and her outburst disrupts the lecture. When her professor questions her, she explains that she often sees terrifying visions and hallucinations like this. Even at night, Stefani would wake up screaming from the terrifying dream. One day, her roommate suggested she talk to her family about it. Taking the advice, Stefani visited her home, where she reunited with her father and her kind-hearted brother, with whom she shared a close bond. Together, they visited their uncle, their mother's brother. Stefani had always felt a strong connection to her cousins and was happy to see them. During the visit, she asked her uncle about her grandmother, Iris, the same Iris who appeared in her visions. But the moment she mentioned her grandmother's name, her uncle's demeanor changed. He grew angry and told Stefani that Iris was as good as dead to them. He said she had gone mad, abandoned the family, and isolated herself on an island, never returning or reaching out. This, he claimed, deeply affected Stefani's mother, damaging her mental health and ultimately leading her to leave the family as well. Her uncle walked away after venting his anger, but her aunt quietly stepped in to help. She gave Stefani a bundle of Iris's belongings, letters and address, and a few personal items. Among them was a photograph, the same photo of Paul and Iris standing in front of the Skyview restaurant, exactly like the one Stefani had seen in her visions. She was shocked, determined to learn the truth. Stefani traveled to the remote island where her grandmother lived. She found a rundown house there and introduced herself through a security camera. To her surprise, Iris welcomed her inside with excitement. Seeing Stefani brought joy to Iris. She asked about her daughter, Stefani's mother, and Stefani explained that their mother had left them when they were children. Then Stefani told Iris the real reason she had come. She had been having recurring visions, nightmares, of Iris and her grandfather standing in front of the Skyview restaurant and of the building collapsing, killing everyone. Iris listened carefully, then revealed something astonishing. She too used to have those same visions, and it was because of those visions that she was able to prevent a major tragedy. Iris explained that on the day of the incident, she took the coin from the little boy's hand, the coin that would have caused a disaster. She had already foreseen the restaurant floor collapsing and used a microphone to warn people. Many were able to escape before the collapse, and lives were saved. Stefani, shocked, asked, "You saved everyone's lives that day?" "Yes," Iris replied. "I cheated Death that day and saved many people. But Death doesn't like to be cheated." She went on to explain that after the incident, Death began hunting those who survived. One by one, it came for them and even for their children. If someone had survived that day, but their child was born afterward, Death came for the child too. After all, if the parent had died in the accident, that child wouldn't have been born. Death, she said, was systematically taking back what it lost, hunting everyone connected to that day. That's when she realized the terrible truth. Death had claimed Paul too. He was taken by cancer. That's when Iris realized she was next. In a desperate attempt to escape Death, she went into hiding on the island. "If I die," she told Stefani, "Death will come for your mother, your uncle, their children, even you and your brother. But as long as I'm alive, you're all safe." Stefani asked, "Then why am I seeing these visions?" Iris replied, "Because now Death is chasing us again." Stefani was terrified by this. Iris handed her a book that contained information about the survivors of the Skyview incident, how they eventually died, their stories, and the different ways they tried to cheat Death. But Stefani dismissed it all as nonsense. She refused to take the book and told Iris she'd come back to visit. Then she walked out. Iris, who hadn't left her cabin in years, suddenly made a bold decision to protect her family. She stepped outside, determined to confront Death. She chased after Stefani and handed her the book anyway. "Death is coming for you now," Iris warned. "If you want to survive, you'll need this book." Stefani still didn't believe her until Iris said, "Then watch me die." Right after that, a chain of events began. A gas leak triggered a series of malfunctions, one leading to another like dominoes falling. Suddenly, a sharp object was launched straight into Iris's back, killing her instantly. Now Stefani believed everything Iris had said. 2 days later, Iris's funeral took place. Stefani's mother attended. That's when Stefani realized the next death would be her mother's. Desperate to save her, she opened the book Iris had given her. Inside, she found the same coin that had once caused the Skyview disaster and helped prevent it. Understanding the pattern, Stefani tried to call her family to warn them, but no one answered. Meanwhile, her family was shown partying together, unaware of the danger, and Death had already begun its next move. At the party, a glass shattered and a shard of it fell into a bucket of ice. Everyone was helping themselves to ice, unknowingly taking pieces from the same batch. One piece of ice with a shard hidden inside ended up in Stefani's uncle's drink. He set the glass aside without noticing. Around him, small changes started happening. Objects are subtly shifting, like parts of a plan falling into place. Later, his glass slipped and shattered again. A sharp shard pierced his foot, making him stumble and fall. The impact triggered a vibration that knocked the tool onto a nearby lawnmower. It turned on, and before anyone could react, it rolled toward him and crushed his face in a horrifying accident. Panic spread through the party. Stefani, now fully convinced, tried to explain everything to her family. She told them how Death had been hunting all the survivors of the Skyview collapse, even their children. One by one, it was eliminating them all. She warned them Iris had died, then her eldest son. Now it would be her daughter next. And when her mother died, she would be the one after that. But no one believed her. Her cousins, especially, were furious. They accused her of making a joke out of their father's death. The only person who believed Stefani was her mother. But despite that, Stefani wasn't speaking to her kindly. Meanwhile, we see her uncle's eldest son at his piercing studio. After wrapping up his work, he closes the shop for the day. As a tribute to his late father, he gets a portrait tattooed on his arm. At the time, he had a metal nose piercing in place. While the tattoo was being done, a ceiling fan above him suddenly switched on. A magnetic chain hanging nearby was drawn toward the metal in his nose. As the fan spun faster, the chain started twisting violently. And so did he. Down below, there were containers of kerosene, and somehow his lighter ignited a fire. Though he managed to free himself from the chain, he fell into the flames. The entire shop caught fire. As soon as Stefani heard about the fire, she rushed to the studio the next morning. But before she could arrive, the boy stepped out in front of her car, alive and mostly unharmed, just a burn on his arm. They talked casually, as if nothing had happened. Then, suddenly, a high-speed truck sped past and nearly hit him. Yet somehow he wasn't hurt. Laughing, he said to Stefani, "See, I told you nothing's going to happen to me." But Stefani wasn't focused on what he was saying. She was scanning the street, watching for anything that could potentially harm him. When a garbage truck drove by, she warned him to stay away. Instead, he walked right up to it and even hugged it. Still, nothing happened. He smiled and said, "See, you're overthinking all of this." Later, his sister went out for a walk. Out of nowhere, her foot struck a ball, causing her to stumble and fall into a trash bin. Before anyone could react, the garbage truck workers unknowingly dumped the entire bin, including her, into the back of the truck. Stefani and the others witnessed it in horror. They rushed to stop the truck, but it was too late. Stefani, risking her life, climbed on top of the truck to try to save her, but the crushing mechanism had already started. The girl's body was shredded by the machinery. Only her severed hand remained in Stefani's grasp. She was dead. Everyone was devastated. That's when Stefani's brother finally turned to her and said, "You were right." But even now, Stefani struggled to believe her theory, because she assumed that the girl's older brother was next in line to die. Then, their aunt revealed a shocking truth. That boy wasn't actually the biological son of Stefani's uncle. That's why death skipped him, and instead his sister died, who was their uncle's true daughter. Stefani was stunned, and now, finally, everyone stood by her, because now they all believed, after the girl's tragic death, her younger brother turned to Stefani with fear in his eyes. "That means it's my turn now," he said. "Stefani, I don't want to die. Will you help me?" Stefani replied honestly, "I want to save you, but I don't know what's going to happen next." Her brother looked at her and said, "Look, you've already figured out so much. You knew things before they happened. You will understand. Just keep watching everything closely." At that moment, Stefani remembered something Iris had told her about a boy who had survived the tower incident and was still alive. He now worked at a hospital, and he had also cheated death. If anyone could help, it was him. They all decided to go find this man. When they reached the hospital and called out his name, JD, he looked stunned. Only Iris had ever called him that. They asked, "How do you know Iris?" He replied, "I was there the day the tower collapsed. I was a singer's son." Suddenly, everything clicked for Stefani. She remembered him from her visions. He was a child Iris had felt drawn to. Now, all grown up, he confirmed that Iris had visited him years ago, trying to find a way to cheat death for her husband, Paul. But despite all her efforts, Paul couldn't be saved. Stefani asked him, "Are there any people who have managed to escape death?" JD nodded. "Yes, 2 people, but it didn't happen the usual way. Death claimed them first. They actually died, but doctors or someone else brought them back. And after that, death stopped chasing them." Stefani pleaded, "Then please, help us. Show us how." But JD shook his head. "I already cheated death once after it embraced me, but I'm dying anyway. I have cancer. And the truth is, no one can run from death forever. It's our final destination. The best we can do is live fully until it comes." The group was discouraged until one of them came up with an idea. He turned to his younger brother, the one marked by death, and said, "You're allergic to peanuts, right? What if you ate one, and we saved you just in time with an epinephrine shot and medical care? If we bring you back from the edge of death, maybe we can break death's pattern." It was a risky plan, but it was all they had. They rushed to a vending machine to get the peanut snack, but the machine wasn't working. Growing desperate, he tried to pry the peanuts out manually, but in doing so, he loosened the screw from the machine. They moved into a nearby hospital room to hide and prepare. "Wait here," he told his brother. "I'll grab the anti-allergic injection." He shut the door behind him, unaware that slamming it had accidentally triggered several buttons. One of them activated the MRI machine in the room. A few minutes later, he returned, pushing a wheelchair and holding the injector. "Eat the peanut chocolate," he told his brother. Just before they could carry out the plan, the MRI machine roared to life. Its powerful magnetic force began pulling every metal object in the room toward it, unleashing chaos. Stefani's older cousin, covered in metal piercings, was the next to fall victim when the MRI machine activated. It didn't just pull in the wheelchair. The powerful magnetic force also began dragging him in. He was pulled in violently, unable to escape, and the metal on his body sealed his fate. Moments later, the wheelchair crashed in as well, and he died instantly. Meanwhile, his younger brother, the one who had eaten the chocolate peanut, was struggling to breathe. In a desperate move, he injected himself with the anti-allergic medicine just in time and survived the reaction. But just then, the vending machine, which they had pried open earlier, malfunctioned. A spring shot out, ricocheting off the walls. It struck the same boy who had just narrowly escaped death, piercing him fatally. Death had claimed him anyway. Everyone was devastated. Stefani turned to her mom and said, "Now it's your turn. I think you should stay at Grandma Iris's house, the place where she hid from death for so long." Her mother agreed. As they prepared to leave, a coin slipped out of the book Stefani was holding. An old woman nearby picked it up and dropped it into her purse, unknowingly taking the cursed object with her. Stefani, along with her brother and mother, drove to Iris's old house. She asked her mom to go inside, assuring her, "Mom, as long as you're alive, nothing can happen to us." Try and protect her children. Stefani's mother went inside the house. But danger was already waiting. There was a gas leak inside, and sparks from faulty wiring crackled in the air. Though she noticed the smell of gas, she ignored it and walked in. A massive explosion erupted. The blast was so strong that it hurled Stefani's car into the nearby water. Trapped underwater, she began to drown. Inside the house, her mother was consumed by flames. Outside, Stefani's brother had been thrown to the ground. As he struggled to get up, he looked up and saw a nearby tower structure teetering, about to fall on him. Just before it collapsed, their mother, barely alive, rushed outside and pushed him out of the way. The tower crashed down on her. She was killed instantly. Now the boy realized Stefani was next. Determined to save her, he dove into the water. He pulled her lifeless body to the surface and dragged her to safety. With no time to spare, he began CPR. After several tense moments, she gasped for air. Stefani had come back to life. They were overwhelmed with relief. She had died, but cheated death by coming back. Just like the others JD had mentioned, she had been revived after death, and that meant she had broken the cycle. They were alive, but their joy was mixed with deep sorrow, having lost their mother and so many others. Some time passed. In the final scene, life had returned to normal. It was a graduation day of Charlie, Stefani's younger brother. The family, still healing, was getting ready to attend. In a moment of joy, Stefani places a rose in her brother's jacket pocket. But suddenly, a thorn pricks her finger. Blood trickles out, just like Iris's hand had bled at the beginning of the movie. And in that chilling moment, Stefani realizes the game of death is starting again. The scene shifts. We're shown the same coin that Iris once stopped from falling, the one that could have triggered disaster. Now, it's in the possession of the old woman. As she opens her wallet, the coin slips out unnoticed. It spins and lands directly on the train tracks, the very same tracks we saw at the beginning of the film. The coin settles at the center of a railway junction, dangerously positioned, potentially able to derail a train. Cut to Stefani and her brother again. Their neighbor, a doctor, and also a friend of Stefani's brother, comes to visit. He smiles at Stefani. "Your brothers told me a lot about you. I'm seriously impressed. You're incredibly lucky to be alive." Stefani responds, "Yes, I'm lucky. I came back from death." But the doctor gently corrects her. "No, you didn't actually die. If someone stops breathing for 5 minutes, only then are they considered clinically dead. But you started breathing again after just 2 minutes. That wasn't death, just unconsciousness." Stefani and her brother freeze. A dreadful realization sinks in. She hadn't truly died, so death was still coming. Suddenly, Stefani starts seeing signs of death in everything around her, but it wasn't subtle this time. Back at the train tracks, that coin, still lodged in the junction, has disrupted the rails. A speeding train suddenly derails. It hurtles off the tracks and barrels straight toward their neighborhood. There's no time to stop it. Stefani and her brother run for their lives. The train screeches to a halt, but not before debris flies in every direction. Sharp wooden splinters, launched like spears, pierce their bodies. And just like that, both of them die. The story ends. This Final Destination movie closes with one powerful message. No one escapes death. No matter how far you run, no matter how many times you cheated, death always finds a way. Thanks for watching.